Good afternoon. This is the Board of County Commissioners meeting. It is 2:07 p.m. It is Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. I'm calling this meeting to order. I'm Carolina Mejia. I'm the chair of the board. To my right is Vice Chair Ty Menser. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. Also in the boardroom, we have County Manager Ramiro Chavez, as well as Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell and Clerk of the Board Jamie Caldwell. We also have Assistant County Manager Rob Gelder joining us via Zoom. We'll start our meeting today with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Edwards.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next, Vice Chair Menser, would you like to do a land acknowledgement, sir?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would also like to start today with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Indigenous Salish peoples whose elders and ancestors have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. Truth and acknowledgement are critical to building mutual respect and connection across all barriers of heritage and difference. The purpose of this acknowledgement is to disrupt ongoing erasure of injustices done and to remember history as a stepping stone towards healing.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the Tuesday, August 8th, 2023 agenda. There have been some changes, and County Manager, will you highlight those changes?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Since this morning, when you reviewed this agenda, you discussed adding a new item, and that is on your consent agenda, item 3B, which for your consideration is the appointment of Mr. Mark Greenstop to the Thurston County Citizens Commission on Salaries of Elected Officials. And that will be a representation for District 3. And the term of expiration will be April 25th, 2027.
Thank you. Any questions?
No question. I might point out that we do not make that selection, that is done random draw through the
Thank you,
auditor's
Commissioner.
office,
Yeah,
right?
it's via lottery conducted by the auditors.
And
This is
then
a
they
procedural
submit a
for you to
name, and
consider.
I think unless we recognize something really out of line or something, we really don't have any say about it. So it's trying to keep us separated from the salary commission. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Okay. So with that change, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the amended agenda for Tuesday, August 18, 2023.
Second?
I would, you said 18th.
Sorry, I move to approve, let me restate my motion. I move to approve the proposed agenda for Tuesday, August 8th, 2023.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay, next is an opportunity for the public to address the board. The Board of Thurston County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public. However, there are some guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. General speaking guidelines are as follows. Please introduce yourself, including the address you reside in the county. Please address the board, not the audience or staff. Please silence your cell phones for those members in the boardroom. The board does not respond to public comments. On a need basis, the county manager will follow up on specific items. Speakers are limited to a total of 4 minutes to address the board. Meeting attendees cannot donate their speaking time to another person. No comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business. All materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW, and no remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal. Thank you for your cooperation. There's no sign up. There is no one on the sign up sheet, but is there someone who would like to provide in the boardroom? Go ahead.
My name is on the silent sign-up sheet.
Is it? Oh,
That's okay.
sorry.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Got a little bit of real estate update for you. Summertime, dog days of summer, activity typically slows down a little bit. People going back to school, finishing up their vacations. But currently, in Thurston County, there are 448 active listings, both single-family and single-family manufacturers and condos. Of those 448, 424 are single-family residences, 23 are condominiums, and 31 are manufactured homes on either their own land or in a park. The median sales price in July went up from last year's high number of $562,500 to this July of $584,500. That's the median price. There are 453 pending inspection or pending listings. And in the past 7 days, so if you look at 448 and 453 active to pending, you can see that's about 1 to 1. But in the past 7 days, there have been 102 new listings in all of Thurston County. 141 pending sales, so you see more are going under contract than are replacing them, hence the disparity. 89 sold listings, 72 price reductions. That's a lot of price reductions in 7 days, and that number continues to increase. Only one price increase, typically those are new construction, and 10 listings were canceled in the past 7 days. Prices in the county range from $110,000 to $25 million. Last time I reported, the lowest price house was $22,000, and that was a manufactured home. But it's going up to $110,000 now. Still suffering from a lack of inventory, which is leading to the increased pricing and multiple offers on homes. Week over week trending, we have more active listings, commensurately more pending sales. The market is robust, and average time on the market is decreasing to roughly 5 to 7 days before a seller accepts an offer. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay, and I'm not seeing anyone online.
Nobody in Zoom. Just going from public health stuff.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay. So with that, that will conclude public comment. Next is county manager's update.
I don't have any specific updates for you this afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the county manager?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay, moving on to our consent agenda, there's 2 items. Is there a request to remove an item from the consent agenda? No? Okay, so is there a motion?
Move to approve consent items 3A and 3B.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. This is a non-debatable motion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
aye.
Commissioner Mentor?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to department items, item 4A from the auditor's office is the approval of the voucher list.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll take this item, and for your consideration is to approve the voucher list for the week of July 24, 2023, which has a combined amount of $463,377.80. This particular item is for your consideration under a department item and not in the consent agenda as usually is, because we have continued to have some small expenditures related to the tenant improvements of this building. Those expenditures are located on your voucher list on page 2, as well as on page 37.
Thank you. Any questions? Commissioner Edwards?
I might have just one question. I don't know if you'll know this or not, but the plants that were purchased, were they for outside or inside?
Inside.
Inside, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Questions? Okay, no questions for me. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the voucher list for the week of July 24th, 2023 for a combined amount of $4,863,377.80.
Second. So moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Nay,
Commissioner Mentor? Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Moving on to information technology, item 5A, renewal of annual maintenance and 300 additional duo licenses. And
Thank-
Sherry Elk, our IT director, will present this item. Go ahead, Sherry.
Thank you. Sherry Ilg, IT Director. I am seeking authorization to purchase an additional 300 Duo licenses and renew our Duo software maintenance agreement in the amount of $64,782.94. We use Duo as one of our core security controls to ensure access to our data is only allowed to authorized individuals. This amount has been budgeted for 2023 and is in our IT rates. And I can answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
I don't have any questions per se, but I would like the public to know that I sit on the risk pool representing the county. And if we don't do this and we end up in a situation where we're hacked and, I don't know, blackmailed or whatever happens along with one of those hackings, if we don't have the proper tools in place, we don't have any coverage. So by maintaining proper technology to cover us as best we can, I don't think there's any true guarantee. But by doing this, it does not alleviate our exposure, but it reduces our exposure. So, thank you.
Thank you. Questions? No questions? Okay. No questions for me. Is there a motion?
Yes. I move to approve the one-year annual maintenance agreement in the amount of $64,782.94 for Duo multi-factor authentication licenses and authorize the IT director to execute the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10% per year for up to 5 years.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Public Health and Social Services, item 6A, amendment number 15 to the Washington State Department of Health, 2022 through 2024 consolidated contract number CLH 31030. And who will be presenting this matter?
Jen, are you up for this item? Maybe I can tee up this item, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Let me get my notes. Just a minute. As a matter of background, commissioners, back in January 2022, the board authorized an agreement with the State Department of Health. And that agreement is what we call the consolidated contract, also known as the CONCON, and that is the CLH 31030. It really is the mechanism in which the state funnels state and federal funding to public health services. The county since have been receiving money through this contract, which the board has authorized previous amendments. So far, 14 amendments. This amendment number 15 adds an additional $2,788,309. And the current contract amounts for a total of $16,518,262. I'm sorry. Let me repeat, $16,518,262. This particular amendment is related to the foundational public health. The board had a robust discussion this morning as to what the foundational public health does, and staff heard the direction. This is an instrument in which the board may consider accepting the money, and during the budget process, also even before then, staff will bring options for the board as to what you could probably use the additional funding related to the foundational public health. Related to the foundational public health, last year, the county received just about $2.6 million. And the board made decisions during the budget process as to where that money should go. That created a baseline. Here, as you can see, is 2,788,000, an additional 188,000 or thereabouts. Not to say the decisions that were made back in December 2022 can be revisited and can be changed or modified as you deem appropriate within the context of the specific items related to the foundational public health. And those activities, those items are outlined in the statute by state law. So for your consideration today is to go through amendment number 15 with the Washington State Department of Health for the consolidated contract CLH 31030 to add $2,788,399 for a total of $16,518,262. And the performance of this contract goes from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024. And I see that Jen has joined us now. I don't know if you'd like to add an additional perspective and maybe follow up with a couple of questions the board asked this morning.
Yes, thank you, County Manager Chavez, for reporting that. Apologies, I had a little technical difficulty, but you are correct. And then just a clarification from this morning, this is not just Foundational Public Health Services dollars. This is for the CONCON, which funds several of our programs. And so there is no unbudgeted funding increase in this 2,788,000. This is for the CONCON that covers many programs, not just Foundational Public Health Services.
Questions, Commissioner Edwards?
Well, I opined quite a bit about this morning, and I would point out to the public that if they want to see a pretty robust discussion, as reiterating what the county manager said, it can be viewed on the YouTube channel that the county has and broadcasts our agenda setting activities. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for now, because we do have more to come, it sounds like, on this particular topic. But it's never hard for me to accept dollars from the state to do our job. So that'll be it for me, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioner Menzer?
So Jen, my understanding that then this is a revision to this morning when we were saying, okay, well, we were expecting 2.6, but this might be $180,000 more foundational public health money. It's really that money is for something else.
Correct. So several grants get thrown into the CONCON. That what we were talking about this morning, that 2.6 was what our assumed amount was last November for just the FPHS portion. This 2.7 is for several of those grants together. That was not any increase. It was what was expected.
Okay. Ma'am, I may want to follow up once you're done, please.
I guess I'm a little confused. So what other grants? So there's an additional $186,000 in other grants available. What are those grants covering then?
So this isn't additional. We have to separate the two. The 2.6 that was assumed in November was for Foundational Public Health Services alone. This is for all of the other grants, and I don't have that listing, but I can get that for you, of the grants that go into our CONCON. Several different grants from NFP to environmental health to Foundational Public Health Services all get put into that.
So when you're saying CONCON, what does that mean?
The state's consolidated contract.
Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Edwards.
That extra amount of money above and beyond the 2.6 that was expected, and what was that for? Why did we get that in this allotment?
It's not extra. There are two separate pots of money.
Okay, well, what is it for then, I guess?
This 2.7?
No, the above the 2.6. You said we budgeted 2.6, but we got in 2.788. I'm just wondering the difference.
They're two separate.
$170,000 more. What was that for?
She said she doesn't know.
You do not know, okay.
It's gonna give
We'll
that
get
to
that
me.
information, Commissioner, and get back to you on that.
So my suggestion is
Yeah.
for you
Okay.
to
And,
consider.
and I guess I'm still kind of I'm struggling with, we knew this was coming. Did we know it was coming today, from the state to us? We already knew that ahead of time?
We knew we'd be getting additional money. We didn't know that it would be on August 8th. We didn't know exactly what the amount would be, but we made assumptions in our budget.
Okay. I see the county manager might have something to add on that.
Commissioners, my suggestion will be, as Commissioner Edwards stated, you cannot refuse receiving additional money
Yeah,
from the state.
right. No, I'm
And
not
this
interested.
item allows to do that. What I think we need to do as a staff, come back to you with specifically what is the breakdown of this $2.7 million will be. So we'll bring back to specifically the 2,788,000. What is the actual breakdown and whether it's grants, foundational public health, for you to have that information? Will that work?
That will work for me, sir. And I guess I just feel that sometimes the public doesn't understand exactly what we're doing, and it becomes very complicated. And so if you have concerns about what we're doing here, we as a board are just trying to stay on top of those expenditures, and I would encourage the public to take a look at our work session. But it's all part and parcel of trying to make sure we spend this money properly for the taxpayers. So that'll be it for me, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
Jen, if you don't mind, can you submit a breakdown of how the 2,788,000 divided? What specific activities are intended to fund?
Absolutely.
And we can bring that back to next agenda setting on next Tuesday.
Could I add one thing on that?
Go ahead.
I guess, because you've got a request of staff, I would like to know if, I don't know, in September or October, are we waiting for Amendment 16? And just roughly, how much money is Amendment 16 gonna be? Just, I'm trying to get it all placed together. That's all. So if Jen can come up with that, what you asked her, could she also let us know kind of what's coming?
Yeah, you can probably put your crystal ball. as
Yeah,
to
there you
what
go.
additional money might be coming this year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Is that
sir.
okay?
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, that's- Okay, yeah, I appreciate that. That would be a good breakdown to get because I do have a little bit of confusion too, but as Commissioner Edwards say, I'm not saying no to money that's coming into the county, so, if there are no more questions or comments, I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve amendment number 15 to the State of Washington Department of Health Consolidated Contract number CLH 31030, providing an additional $2,788,399 for a revised maximum consideration of $16,518,262 for the duration of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment.
Second.
Second. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mensah?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Thank you. Okay, and our last department item, item 6B, is to set a public hearing date regarding amendments to the Nisqually Shellfish Protection District Work Program and fixing rates and charges in the district. And Jane Mountjoy-Vetting, our Senior Environmental Health Specialist, will present this item.
Thank you. I'm Jane Mountjoy-Vetting, Thurston County Environmental Health and Senior Environmental Health Specialist. We're asking you to set a public hearing date in September to consider renewing the Nisqually Shellfish Protection District Work Program. It's a combined work program with the Henderson and Nisqually Shellfish Protection Districts. and then to set the rates and charges for the Nisqually program, which focuses in on septic maintenance, operations and maintenance. That piece of it does expire on December 31st if no action is taken by both the Board of County Commissioners and the Board of Health. We have found it to be a very successful program. At the moment, all of the marine stations in Nisqually Reach that the state health monitors regularly are meeting the water quality standards. There's still some issues from surface water inputs that aren't meeting standards, so they haven't removed all the red zones yet. But we do feel like it's a successful program, and if we stop now, we feel that we'll lose ground and have a turnaround. So we have reopened, I think, 100 and some acres of shellfish growing beds in this area, in part due to this program.
Thank you, Jane. Questions? Commissioner?
Jane, is this over a proposal of a 3.5% increase? Is that the goal here? Is that the recommendation?
Well, the recommendation is to continue the program, but we need to set the fees or the rates and charges for next year. So how it has been done is from the initial rates and charges, we've set it to the cost of living index or a cap of 3.5%. So this year, from between the rates and charges of 2023 to 2024, the month that we set the consumer price index is higher than 3.5. So we're capping at the 3.5%.
So even inflation, even though inflation is 7 or 8% in
Right.
the past year, we've put a limit on of 3.5%.
Correct.
So well under the cost of living, I might
Correct.
point out. Okay, thank you very much. County manager's got his hand up.
I'll go, Commissioner Winsor. No questions? No questions for me?
Hey, Jane, can you elaborate in terms of the connection on the Board of Health item that is up for consideration later this afternoon related to the same issue? So it's two items. One, the Board of County Commissioners needs to take an action. Subsequently, the Board of Health also needs to take an action. Can you build that bridge, please?
I'll try. The Board of County Commissioners, based on state statute, the Board of County Commissioners and Shellfish Protection Districts has the authority to adopt a work program to protect and improve the water quality for shellfish districts, or shellfish beds, and to set rates and charges for the program that the work program implements. So that's under the purview of county commissioners. The Board of Health has the authority to declare an area, a geographic area, a marine recovery area, or area of special concern that then you can impose additional requirements upon in order, again, to protect the resource of, in this case, clean water and shellfish growing areas. The Board of Health has the authority to amend the county sanitary code to then accomplish some of the things that the work program calls for.
Goals and objectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear as mud.
Could I make a comment?
Yeah, go
please?
ahead.
I guess for the public, I'd say if you're interested in what Jane is talking about, the follow-up Board of Health item will be on the Board of Health's agenda, and we meet at 4:30 this afternoon. So anybody they can come in or they can watch us on our YouTube or live stream. Is it YouTube or live stream right now?
Both.
Both. Oh, we're, okay.
Both
We
are
offer
correct.
both so the public can keep track of us.
right.
Thank you very much.
And we will have things posted to our website either later this week or next week that includes a story map describing the evaluation process, the full evaluation report, and other information as well as the.
And how we got to where we are
Yeah.
today and
Yeah.
and contemplating reenacting or reinstituting that district. Is that right? Thank you.
No more questions? Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Move to approve setting a public hearing for Tuesday, September 5th, 2023 at 3:30 PM or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at 3000 Pacific Avenue Southeast, Room 110, to receive testimony on the proposed ordinance that will amend the Henderson Inlet Shellfish Protection District and Nisqually Reach Shellfish Protection District Consolidated Work Program, and assess rates and charges to fund the on-site sewage system operation and maintenance program and activities of the Nisqually Reach Shellfish Protection District.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
No, ma'am.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye. Okay, next for our standing items, commissioners will report on board work sessions and assigned committee meetings, providing updates on actions taken as well as upcoming issues. Commissioner Edwards, we'll start with you, sir.
Okay. I met with Animal Services last night over in Lacey. And I think I've mentioned they're talking about a space analysis, and that's coming up pretty soon. Then that could lead to a proposal to do something different, possibly. Attended the Lacey South Sound Chamber of Commerce. Chief Brooks, from the Fire Agency, was the speaker and kind of went over how everything took place having to do with support for fire districts. And it looks like everything was able to pass on our fire district support throughout the county, I believe. And then the dispatch center had our meeting there, and we've still got some issues that we're working out with the county, but it looks like we're making headway. That'll be my report, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for Commissioner Edwards? Okay.
No, I'm glad to hear that. I hadn't actually checked to see that all the fire levies passed, so that's good.
I think that was the case, unless something flipped right at the last minute. There was
I checked it today.
one close one. They're all passed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Commissioner
Me, so I didn't have a lot of outside committee meetings since the last meeting, but a whole series of meetings and conversations about continuing concerns about state management of our forests, state managed forest land, climate change, et cetera. Lots of new moving pieces there, so that took up really the majority of my we were in session a lot this last week, but that took up a lot of my non-BoCC time.
And we did have a bit of information come in that maybe we might have a new struggle, maybe in the area of Summit Lake.
It looks like the area that's identified as east of Summit Lake. So I'll check with staff, but I don't know that there's going to be any impact on Summit Lake per se, but I'm going to verify that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Same, I only had SWAC as well as intercity transit, and I guess for intercity transit, the one thing to report is that they are moving to expand services at night. I know that's been one of the requests, and the Dash was another one of the requests. And so they're looking to continue to add those services, and they are looking to be like fully at capacity to what they were before, and including a little bit more frequent times in other lines by 2025. As more operators are coming through, they're starting to increase, and so that's very exciting. I know that's one of the things that we've heard a lot from the community has been those increased times for intercities. So that's happening. So it's slowly but surely happening. So that's good news. And I've met with staff and just kind of gave them some of the resources that I collected at NACO, and will continue to do that. And then I met with someone in regards to a heat response plan. And I thought that was pretty interesting, and he He's wanting for the Board of Health to bring some more initiative in this, and so that was an interesting meeting, and I know that he also met with Commissioner Menzer. He stated, and probably will be meeting with Commissioner Edwards soon.
You guys remember at the executive seminar for emergency management out at Tilly Road, Paul Brewster reported that those were gonna be there were two elements gonna be added to our hazard mitigation plan. One of them was heat. And so I met with him before the last board meeting, and I made sure that David Bain got connected to him, because our staff that was tasked with that is our housing staff, which they may have some need for some help, with those elements.
Which, yeah, he told me that, and I was very surprised, right? And I was like, well, I sort of understand on like the houseless element and how our housing staff would be tied in, but a lot of the impact was also for folks who were housed, who were just getting impacted by the heat and who were, didn't recognize the signs. And so I was just wondering like, well, why isn't that with more of our disease and prevention control or something along those lines, or even environmental health? I don't know, but I was just, that kind of caught me by surprise, as well as how come our housing got kind of tasked with that. And so I also sent an email to Director Bain about it, and so hopefully.
And I think the link as to why housing ended up with that is because of the hazardous weather task force. We have this task force that will respond to colder conditions, and we open shelters when those conditions arise. It's really, as you stated, mainly targeted to those unhoused individuals. We migrated under that group to also address when hot weather conditions, where we open up, in this case, cooling centers, also targeting to the unhoused individuals in of our community. But sounds like this particular effort is larger, more complex. That will be great to hear additional details about this.
Okay, and so that's all I have to report. Next, the county manager will review the Board of County Commissioners schedule for the week of August 8th, 2023.
Yeah, commissioners, let me walk you through your combined schedule, where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. As you stated earlier, this afternoon at 4:30, you have a regular Board of Health meeting. Wednesday, August 9th, tomorrow at noon, you have your standing elected officials meeting. And nothing on Thursday, August 10th. Friday, August 11th, 2 in the afternoon, you have the opportunity to meet and greet new county employees. Monday, August 14th at noon, you have your standing Washington State Association of Counties meeting with your fellow elected officials across the state. And then you will convene back here on Tuesday, August 15, 9:15 in the morning on your regular agenda setting, and 2 in the afternoon, your regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. That's all I have for you.
Thank you. Questions?
No questions, thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so that we have reached the conclusion of our meeting. It is 2:46. We do have a Board of Health at 4:30 p.m. if you would like to join us for that. But we are adjourned.